2 3 weeks ago, I opened a LeetCode problem, medium difficulty, and I knew this problem. I was sure I knew this problem because I'd solved it before. Not once, more than 10 times. 10 green check marks, 10 accepted submissions sitting right there in my history. And I was staring at an empty editor with absolutely nothing in my head. Okay, so at first I did what everyone else does. I blamed myself. Maybe my brain wasn't meant for solving these sort of problems. Maybe I'm just not good at LeetCode. But then I realized that I've been a backend engineer for almost 6 years and I built a system that handles real scale. So I'm not a stupid person. So if I'm not a stupid person and the problem is not impossible to solve, then the only thing left to question is the method. Am I learning it wrong? And it turns out, yes, and the reason is sitting right inside your skull, your brain. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain does not care about LeetCode. It was built for one job, which is keeping you alive. So it holds on to the stuff that keeps your ancestor breathing. What does a tiger looks like? Don't touch fire. Where's the water? And the optimal solution to container with most water? Yeah, that's not on the list. You know that feeling when you wake up from this incredible dream and by the time you finished breakfast, it's just gone. So your brain looked at the dream, decided it wasn't worth the space, and quietly deleted it. That's not a bug, to be honest. Your brain is just running a garbage collection. And to your brain, half of what you study is garbage. Someone actually measured how fast this deletion happened. Back in 1885, a German psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus. His experiment was kind of insane. He made up hundreds of meaningless three-letter sounds such as with, zoff, cab. Not words, just nonsense on purpose. So nothing could connect to anything he already knows. Then he memorized them and tested himself over and over to see how fast they slipped away. What he found is now called forgetting curve. After one day, most of it was already gone. After a week, just fragments. And here's the part I love. In 2015, a couple of researchers ran his experiments again. 130 years later, what they found was the same curve. So when you forget, that's not you failing, that's just the hardware. Okay, so you're thinking, I didn't just read those problems, I solved them like 10 times. But the question is, did you though? Let me show you something. You recognize this, right? This is 2-sum hash map 1+. You might be nodding right now. It feels obvious, right? Now, what I would like you to do is close your eyes and try to produce the solution line by line. You have to take care of all the edge cases. Do it right now. The gap that you actually filled between, obviously I know this question and actually producing it, it has a name. Psychologists call it fluency illusion. It's like when you reread a solution or resolve a problem with the solution fresh in your memory, your brain confuses this familiarity with knowledge. Okay, to give you an analogy, think of a face you would recognize anywhere. For example, there might be 1,000 of people and you can recognize this face, for example, your friend's face. But what if I say you that, can you actually work on the details? Can you draw it? Of course you cannot draw it, you are not an artist, but just tiny details, for example, what color is their eyes, do they have something on their nose and all those things. That actually is the difference between recognition and recall. So recognizing is your brain saying, hey, I know this thing, it looks familiar, and recall is actually trying to build it from nothing or from scratch. These are completely different things. And you know what? Interviews only focuses on one thing, and that is your ability to recall, not recognize. So it might feel like learning, but it isn't. And there is an entire book dedicated into learning things, and the book is called Make It Stick. I'll be providing the link in the description so you could check it out. Okay, so if easy practice is fake, then what actually works? There's a one idea underneath all of it, and it might sound quite backward, but it is struggle. So the struggle is not the obstacle in your learning. The struggle is the learning. Every method that I'm going to tell you is just a different form of struggle, but done at the right moment, right? And there are three of them. The first one is called retrieval. So think of it as an act where you try to pull the solution from your own head. For example, you have done this question, right? Now you have forgotten it completely. Try to pull that solution from your own head without looking at the solution, without looking at the hint, nothing. The act of retrieving it from your own head, this actually helps you build a memory. The more you struggle, the more it is better for you. Of course, you will not be spending like more than 1-2 hours just to pull it off. But yes, this act of retrieving actually helps you build your memory. Now the second one is called spacing. Now most people, what they do is, I have solved the question, I'm gonna solve, let's say, after 2 hours, the next day, and the next day, and let's say we did the question 3 consecutive days back to back. To be honest, that doesn't help. People might say you that you have to practice the same question and again, but there is no benefit, because the solution is fresh in your memory and you're just pulling that solution from your short-term memory. It has not traversed to your long-term memory. And the first method, which I called you, that the retrieval helps you build that memory. But the spaced repetition is like giving yourself enough time to forget some of the solution, so that when the next time you try that question, you are actually struggling. And again, as I said, the struggling is the learning. So here is how you might do this. You did the question on the first day, you waited till the third day, and then you did the question again on 7th, and then on 14th. So there is some sort of mathematical formula going on, and when to revise that question. And again, whenever you are revising that question, you need to remember the first method that we discussed, which is to retrieve it without any hints and without any peeking in the solution. Okay, now why this works? It's like whenever you catch yourself doing the solution before it is completely erased from your memory, you actually delay the timeline, right? You delay the amount of time that it would take for it to get out of your memory. And that's so if you keep on doing this repetition but at a spaced interval, that idea, that information, that solution will be in your memory for a very long time. And the third one is called interleaving. I almost forgot that word. Okay, what this means is that you need to mix up the question that you're trying to solve. For example, what I used to do was, well, I just picked one pattern. Let's say I wanted to do the sliding window. I wanted to master sliding window. And I will do the same question again and again. Let's say I have 5 questions. I will do first question, second question. And by the time I reach the third question, it was like autonomous for me, because I knew that this is a sliding window problem, right? Because I am inside the sliding window bucket itself. So my brain knew already that I have to apply this solution, this method. And there is no work, you can see, right? There is no work done. There is no mental effort. Again, there is no struggle. And to fix this, what you can do is to mix up the solutions. First, you can do sliding window, and then you can do maybe let's say 2 pointers or a DP problem, a heap. Again, you do not need to know that this question belongs to that pattern. Otherwise, again, it will be like an autonomous thing. You already know what pattern it is. So try to mix up the solution, mix up the questions. And because that is what in the real interview you are judged against, right? They will throw a question and you have to figure out whether this question belongs to which pattern. So again, interleaving is the third and the final one. Now, retrieval only works if there's something structured to retrieve. And here's the realization that changed how I see LeetCode. There are no 2000 problems. There are just about 15 patterns wearing 2000 costumes. And the problem tells you which pattern it is. In the one place everybody skips, the constraints. Look at this. N up to 10 to the power 5. That single line just eliminated every n square idea you had. Whatever the answer is, it's O(n) log n or better. So it lives in the world of sorting, hash maps, 2 pointers, sliding window. If the n is up to 1000, now n squared seems fine, right? And when a problem politely allows you n squared, it's very often dynamic programming. What if n is up to 20? That's the problem winking at you. Exponential is on the table. Backtracking, bit mask, permutation, combinations, try everything. So the constraints aren't the fine print, they are the answer keys printed upside down. Okay, so you might be asking, okay, all these things are fine, so how do I do it? Okay, so here's my protocol. When you see a problem that is new to you and that you do not know the solution of beforehand, what you want to do is first read the problem statement carefully, of course. You do not have to jump right into the solution. Read the question once, and then read the constraints. Again, they give away a lot of hints. If it is, again, they give a lot of hints. Then you set a timer, 20 minutes max, because we have a life outside LeetCode, dude. And one question, if this takes 20 minutes, and you will only be able to do how much, let's say, right? So set a timer of 20 minutes in which you will be struggling. You will not be picking at the hints. You will not be picking at the solutions, nothing. And if 20 minutes have passed and you are still, completely zero, you have tried everything, you're writing the solutions, you're drawing everything. Use pen, paper, of course, not the mental maths. Damn, again, another aircraft, something might be... Okay, after the 20 minutes have passed and you are still completely blank, I would like you to copy the question and whatever solution that you were thinking of during those 20 minutes, go ahead and paste it in the favorite AI model, whatever you use, and ask it for a very small hint. It might also help you, it will actually help you correct the way of your thinking, whether it was in the right direction or not. And when it will provide you a hint, use that hint to do the question. But again, do not waste a lot of time. And if still you are completely helpless in that point, you just look at the solution. You look at the solution and then you redo that solution by yourself, right? And then submit it. Okay, so I tried to do all of these things, right? I created a spreadsheet where I jotted down the question and whether I was able to do this question on my own or not. And if I was not able to do the question, I knew that I have to do the spaced repetition, right? Because first I did this question by seeing the solution. So it is in my memory, but I do not want to get the wrong fact that I know it. So I will try this question again, maybe tomorrow, right? So this is like spaced repetition, and 3 days after, but there has to be a structure, right? There has to be a structure which will prompt me to do this question again and again. And I try to find a platform which actually helped me in this thing, and I was not able to find it. So I said, shoot, let me create it for myself. So I went ahead and tried to see if there are platforms that actually help, and I was not able to find any of them. So I built this website for myself, and I call it algorithms, right? So it has 155 problems spread across 22 patterns, right? And if you want to practice a single pattern, you can go ahead and click on this patterns tab, and you will get all those patterns, right? It also has a review section, which actually resurfaces each problem right when you're about to forget it. So after every review, you are given these options, right? And you can tell whether you were able to do this question or not, based on how difficult was it for you to recall it. So if it was easy, and this question will be pushed back into later in the time, because you already know it. There is no point in doing this again and again. And when you click on forgot completely, it will try to resurface it next day maybe. And again, this actually helps us in learning it better, right? Okay, now when you do a question, let's say I want to do this majority elements question, the first thing that pops is your pattern recognition, because you know that there are 2000 3000 LeetCode problem, but they all share very same thing, which is called pattern. Which pattern do I need to use? And that is what is most important. So it gives you take 30 seconds, right, and try to figure out the pattern. If you are able to figure out the pattern, maybe click on this I know the pattern, and let's say if you are not able to find it, click on reveal, and it will just give you a very small hint what you need to apply. Okay, once you do that, you are taken to this question. Again, this is not a LeetCode alternative. You have to do this question on the LeetCode itself. It's just a way to structure your learning, right? Once you solve this on the LeetCode, and you used various approaches and what worked, what didn't, you can add your notes here. For example, I tried using some stupid algorithm and this failed, edge cases fail and all those things. This is sort of a reflection. And when you reflect on a question that you solved, it actually helps in the learning, right? And once that is done, you can click on mark as solved, which will put this question in a review queue, so that you can come back here and you can, it will be there in this review session when it is time for you to review it. Yeah, I think this I'll be putting it into the description. You can use it. It's free. There is no need for signups and all those things. Again, these are few perks. Just give you a activity and what sort of how much percentage of these patterns you have completed. Yep, I think that would be it. Oh, that problem from the beginning, the one I solved 10 times and couldn't remember, I solved it in this morning, 11 submission. Not because I got smarter, because I finally stopped practicing to feel productive and started practicing to remember. I'm Kishan. I'll see you in the next one.